they admit that they were wrong, right? New York Times should leave these up and just put a red X to it and go, we suck. There is even the New York Times acknowledging that this review, I have been covering for a while now, the defunding of UNRWA, massive relief organization that is so large, it is like a country. Its budget is over $1 billion. I had the former spokesperson. He looked a little like a porpoise, but spokesperson of UNRWA on the show just a couple of weeks ago talking about this. UNRWA has been defunded by some of the most important countries like the U.S. because mainly Israel wants to stop UNRWA because they don't want Palestinians getting any aid, and they also don't like that UNRWA acknowledges that Gaza Strip and West Bank are refugee areas, which if they're refugees, what are they refugees from? Oh, the land they were kicked off of. You see how that works? If they're refugees, then it follows. So that's why Israel despises UNRWA, some of the many reasons. But so the U.S. has defunded, cut off hundreds of millions of dollars. And now even the New York Times. And I just want to point this out again, that even when this first started, even when the whole UNRWA helped commit October 7th, and even I knew it was fake. People knew it was fake. Independent journalists knew it was fake. There were people who looked at it and goes, that sounds fake. I bet that's fake. And here is the New York Times, even the New York Times, acknowledging, looks like it's fake. UN officials and some donor nations are renewing calls to revive funding for the main UN agency aiding Palestinians after a review found that Israel had not provided evidence, meaning any evidence, to support its claim that many employees, they didn't say many, actually, they said 12, of the agency out of 30,000 are members of terrorist organizations. There is even the New York Times acknowledging that this review found zero evidence that 12 members of 30,000 people were part of October 7th. More than a dozen countries, including the United States, suspending funding to the agency known as UNRWA after Israel claimed in January that a dozen agency employees had participated in the October 7th led attacks and the aftermath. And also Israel got that information by torturing other UN staff, which you'd think torturing UN staff is something that might get you in a little trouble. You'd think it would. When the New York Times does something like this, where they admit that they essentially, in other reporting, they admit that they were wrong, right? Because they're saying a review showed that Israel gave zero evidence. They do not take down the old articles that make them look like fools. They leave them up so that people can keep using them as if they're truth. But here's one example. I want to see how quickly I could find an article by the New York Times basically saying that UN was part of UN agency was part of October 7th. And here's one titled, UN agency in Gaza fought Hamas infiltration. Not hard enough, Israel says. And then they just go on to spit back at you all the Israeli claims that are false and act as if it's true. And New York Times leaves this garbage online. They don't retract it. They don't draw red lines through it. They leave it up. Part of me says, that's kind of cool. They leave it up so that I can go back and go, look how dumb they look. So I like that part. How about the fact that your aunt, who has all this shit wrong, can look this up and email it to you, go and say, UNRWA was involved with Hamas, see? So people can still point to these utterly false articles. And instead, really, New York Times should leave these up and just put a red X to it and go, we suck. Like red writing next to the headline. Wow, do we suck? And it should just be thousands of those articles online. It would just be littered across the internet. Just dozens of years of just, we still suck. Wow, do we suck? Oh, Kim Jong-un murdered his girlfriend with alligators. Oh, nope, year later, there she is seen in public. Let's leave that old headline up and write, we suck next to it. Oh, Cuba killed people, Cuba gave U.S. diplomats bad headaches with a sound cannon gun, secret sound ray, and now they have migraines or they feel dizzy. A year later, CIA admits not true. So we suck. Just leave it all up. Just put a giant "we suck" tag across the top of it. And that's how it should appear nowadays. Instead, and of course, that would go for all of Russiagate, all of WMD, all of that garbage, all of the garbage that they just spit out day after day, like some kind of volcano of horseshit. But they should leave it all up, and it should just have a big tagline at the top that says, what? Look at that. We suck. Wow, do we suck?